how to create a servlet, we saw that, right? Yesterday, bro, 1 minute. Okay. So yesterday we saw that how to create a servlet and what are the ways to create a servlet. We saw that. How many ways to create a servlet? There are three ways to create a servlet. First one is the servlet interface. Another one generic servlet. Another one is the HTTP servlet class. If you want to, if you are using servlet interface, what we need to do? We have to implement all the methods which are present inside the servlet interface. So very rarely we are using this way, that is the servlet interface. After that, generic servlet, when we want protocol independent servlet and we don't want the request object as well as the response object, that time we are using simply generic servlet. And inside the generic servlet, we don't have any HTTP specific method like a get method, head method, post method, put or delete method. That method we don't have here inside the generic servlet. And most of the time we are using that method only. We don't have that method here inside the generic servlet. That's why we are not using this class. After that, another class is the HTTP servlet. Why we are using this? It is used when we want HTTP specific method as well as the request object as well as the response object as well. So that time simply we are using the HTTP servlet method. And why we are using is because whatever method is present here inside the servlet interface, whatever method present inside the generic servlet, that all the methods will come inside the HTTP servlet. And which type of inheritance is this? Which type of inheritance?
Multi-level.
Multi-level. Okay, this is the first level, then second level. Grandfather, father, and son. Okay, this is the multi-level inheritance. Means whatever properties this have, it will come into this one, and whatever property this have, it will come into the this one. Okay, so that is called as the multi-level inheritance. Now, we will see how our means servlet will be created. What is the life cycle of the servlet? So yesterday I told you we have one browser and we have one server. Browser is nothing but our client. Okay, browser is nothing but our client. So yesterday we have created one servlet here. Okay, suppose this is my servlet here I have created. What is the name? That is the HTTP servlet I have created. So this is my HTTP servlet. Simple. I will copy this one. We will come to the page. So yesterday we have created one file, that is the servlet file. This is the servlet file I have created. Okay, suppose this is my servlet file. So what will happen? What will happen if we create a servlet or if when we run the program? So what will happen? So whenever we start our servlet, okay, whenever we start our server, so that time servlet class is loaded in the memory and servlet object will be created. So when we will start our server, so how we will start our server? Simply will come here like that, and after that here our server is there. Simply we can start it from here. Okay, so whenever we start our servlet, so that time whatever file is there, that file will be loaded in the memory, and after that it will create one object inside our server. Like that it will be create an object. So whose object is this? That is the test servlet object. Who created this object? That is the test servlet object. Okay, test servlet object is created on the server. So when it will be created? When server is started. Okay, when server is started, the servlet class is loaded in the memory and servlet object will be created. Okay, this is the first phase of our servlet life cycle. So what is the first phase of life cycle? That is the loading and the instantiation. When we will start our server like that from here, so that time what will happen? This servlet file will be loaded in the memory, and after that it will create an object on the server like that. It is creating the object here. Who is creating now? Test servlet. Okay, after that another phase is that there is the initialization. If I want to write anything here, okay, if I want to write anything here inside this means object, how to initialize this object? I want to initialize any value inside this object. So how to initialize that? So that value we can initialize with the help of init method. Okay, if you want to initialize that object, we can initialize that object with the help of init method. And whatever methods we are seeing here, that is init method, service method, and destroy method, that all the methods are present inside the servlet interface. This is the first way to create a servlet. That is the servlet interface. So init method, service method, destroy method, this all the methods are present in the servlet interface. Okay, so why we are using the init method? To initialize an object. Servlet object will be initialized by invoking the init method. Okay, so with the help of this init method, our servlet object will be initialized. Another thing is that is the service. So why we are using the service method? Suppose if we are sending any request to the server, any request we are sending to the server, yesterday we saw that. So what the server will do? Server will accept that request, then it will be process that request, it will generate the response, and after that that same response it will send back to our clients. This type our servlet working will be done, right? Dynamic, sometimes it will send dynamic response, sometimes it will send the static response as well. Okay, so whatever we are sending, this is called as the request. Means we are sending request to our servers. Like I want that page, I want search software homepage, like that we are sending to the server. So what this server will do? Server will accept this request, and after that server will process this request, it will generate the response, and after that it will send this response to the our client. Okay, it client is nothing but our web browser. Any web browser we can take, like Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, any browser if you take, that is called as the client only. Okay, so what will happen here? What is the work service? What is the work of service here? Service method. What is the work of service method here? So here service method will be present. So that will do the, that will able to handle the request. Okay, so what service method will do? Service method will accept this request. After that, service method will process that request, and it will generate the response, and it will send back to our client. So why we are using the service method? For the request handling. Okay, it will handle or serve the client request. Means who is handling the request? That is the service method. On the server, there is a one method, that is the service method, which can able to accept the request. It will generate the response, and after that, it will send the response to the client. Okay, so this is the service method are used to handle the request. Okay, it is used to handle the request. First one is the init method. What it will do? It will initialize our object. After that, our service method, what it will do? It will use for the request handling. It will accept the request, it will generate the response, and it will send back to our client. That is the use of our service method. And remember one thing, this init method and this destroy method will call only once, but service method will call multiple times. Means we are not sending request only one time. No, we will send request multiple time, like that. I will send multiple time this request, so it will also generate the response multiple time, like that. So who is handling that? Only service method. So service method will run multiple times, but that init method and the destroy method happens only means once. It will not initialize the object every time. Okay, it will, this init method will not execute every time. Means it will not initialize an object every time. When it will be initialized only first time, it will be initialize an object. After that, service method will work. Service method will handle the request, it will generate the response, and it will send back to our client. Okay, another thing is that, that is the destroy method. So what it will do? When we are stop our server, suppose if I right click on that, and if I stop our server, so that time what destroy method will do? So it will destroy our object from our server. Whenever we stop our server, so that time our destroy method will call, and our this object we have now on the server, it will be deleted or it will be removed from our server. So that's this type our servlet life cycle will be work. And destroy and init will be happens one, but service method will happens multiple times. Okay, now another thing is that we saw the multi-threading concept, right? We saw the multi-threading concept. So what is the use of multi-threading concept here? If you are sending multiple requests to the server, so what this server will do? Server will not directly accept this request. It will create one thread here, like that. It will create. If you are sending one request, it will create one thread. It will create for every request, it will create a one thread, and that all the threads will execute its resource at the same time. So multi-threading concept is happen inside our server. Okay, so this is the life cycle of the servlet. First one is the loading and instantiation. Here what will happen? Our servlet class will be loaded in the memory, and servlet object will be created. After that, when we start our server, that time our init method will be called. And what is the method? What is the use of this init method? To initialize an object. If you want to initialize any value to this object, so that time init method will be called. After that, request handling. So which method will call this time? That is this service. Means if we send a request, so who is handle that request? That is this service method. Service method will accept that request, it will generate the response, and it will send back to our client. So we will have who is responsible for that? That is the service method. And remember one thing, init method will happen only once, destroy method will be happen only once, but service method will happen multiple times, because we will send the request multiple times, and we want a response also multiple times. So who will work for that? That is the service method. After that, destroy phase. Inside that, whenever we shut down our server, or whenever we stop our server, like that, so what it will be do? This destroy method will be called, and this destroy method will delete our object from the server. Okay, it will simply come here and it will delete our object from here. If you are not calling the destroy method, that time our object will be keep here only. If you are calling destroy method, so that time only our uh, object will be deleted, otherwise our object will not be deleted. Okay. Now I told you like init method, service method, and destroy method. So where it is present? In where? No. In which class or in which interface? Init method, service method, and display method inside this servlet interface. This all the methods are present inside the servlet interface. If you want to create with the help of servlet interface, that time you can easily understand that where means when this init method call, when this service method call, when the display method. So can we will do that with the help of servlet interface. So we'll try to execute with the help of servlet interface. So I will remove this thing and simple I will create a servlet with the help of servlet interface. So servlet is an interface. So what we need to do first? Implement HTTP or servlet interface. Okay, implements servlet. So whenever we implement this interface, it is giving the error. Why? Because here we have a 5 methods. So we have to override that 5 methods. Simply I will here click Control 1, and if I hit enter, so all the methods will be overridden here. Okay, so what are the methods present here? Init method, service method, then we have destroy method as well. Then get servlet config and the get servlet input. So which are the lifecycle methods here? Init, then service, and we have a destroy. These are the 3 lifecycle methods. Now for the destroy method, what we will write here? Simply we will write one sentence here. System.out I will write, and here I will write destroy method is called. Simple I am writing like that. And when destroy method is called? When our server is stopped, that time our destroy method will be called. When init method will be called? If I want to initialize an object, when init method will initialize an object, that time our initialization will be called. So here I am writing here, whenever our init method will perform, that time it will print init method will be method is called, and after that here simple will write. Okay, and here I am writing method is called, and simple will try to print something on the web browser also. For that, what we will use? We want to print something on the console or on the browser. For that, print writer, right? If you want to print anything on the browser, for that we will use simply print writer. So how to get the print writer? So with the help of response. Response have one method, that is the get writer. With the help of get writer, it will return one object of the print writer. So we are getting here print writer object. And with the help of this print writer, we can either write it or we can either print it on the browser. Okay. Here suppose I am printing something. Hello. Okay. Now if I run this one, so what it will be print? First initialization method will call, then service method will be called, and after that whenever we shut down this server, that time which method will be called? Destroy method, right? So now I have mapped the service servlet here as well. How to map? For that we have to write 2 tags. First is the servlet mapping. Inside the servlet mapping we have to write 2 things: servlet name and the URL pattern. And with the help of this URL pattern we can access our servlet, right? After that same thing we have to write here also. That is the servlet tag we have to write, and here have to write first tag, that is the servlet name. Which name we have to give here? Whatever name we have given here, same name we have to give here as well. And after that, inside the servlet class, which class you want to execute with the help of package, and the class you have to write this here. Okay. Now if I run this one, that is this class, that is this one. If I want to run this one, right click on that, run as, run on server. So our server is started. So that time which method will be called? When when our servlet is started, that time which method will be called? Init method, right? So we'll see what method is called or not. So our method is not called. I think some mistake we did. Wait a minute. Okay. So I'll try to run it from here. Huh? Yes, sir. Yes. So here, see. So this is the page we are getting. If I want to access my servlet, how we will access that? With the help of this URL. So slash triple A. So I will write here with the after project name. I will write here triple A. If I hit enter means our method is calling. We will see our init method is called or not. So see, init method is called and service method is called. But our that method is not called destroy method. So how we will call the destroy method? When we will start or stop your server, that time our destroy method will call. So for that server I am taking here. Now we will try to stop our server. Destroy method is called. So we have three methods. Which are that three methods? Init method, service method, and the destroy method. See if I start it again. Okay. So now this is our servlet here. Where is our servlet? Here. Okay. If I refresh this again, so our see service method is calling multiple times. If I show you means, so this is our servlet, and from here we are accessing that. So see, as I told you, init method will call only once, but server, that is the service method, will call multiple times. Suppose I am sending the request multiple times. That is, if I refresh this page, means request will be go right. So if I refresh this page again and again, see which method is calling? Service method is calling multiple times, but init method will call only once, and the destroy method will also call only once. See, if I stop this server here, so that time our destroy method will call. Here is the destroy method. That is destroy method is calling here. Okay, so that is the three life cycle method we have: init method, service method, and the destroy method. So anyone have any difficulties here? Till now, anyone have any difficulties? No. So we'll try to create a servlet here again. So this is the servlet we have. That is the with the help of servlet interface we have created this servlet. Now we will try to create another servlet here. Right click on that, new and simple class. Okay. So I'm giving the name as a test servlet one. Okay. And simply I will click on finish. I click on the finish. Now I want to create a servlet means what we need to do with the help of HTTP servlet. What we need to do first? Extend, then HTTP servlet. Okay. After that here any methods I will here to get. So with the associative request we will use this method. If your request is the get type, so we will use the do get. Our request is the post type, so then we will use post method. So try to write here post method. It will not execute because by default our request is the get type. So that is why we are using here do get here. Okay. So with the help of do get, we will try to execute this one. Suppose this servlet I have created. Now I will write here system.out. Okay, and here I am writing anything that is the test servlet one simply. Okay, and after that if I want to print anything on the console means response dot get writer. And get writer will return the object. Which object it will return? Yes, print writer, right? So simply I will write here print writer, and with the help of this print writer we can print it anything on the console. So simple I am printing here, that is the servlet test servlet one execute. Okay, so whenever this servlet will be burst, that time what it will print on the browser? That is the test servlet executed. And whenever we run this servlet, so what it will print on the console? State servlet one. So now we have two servlets here. That is test servlet and the test servlet one. And how many web XML file we have? That is the only one. So how we will map that servlet with the request? So simple. I will remove this things from here. We want only this package. We don't want this test servlet. We want servlet class also. We don't want. We want only this thing, right? So we have two servlet here. Test servlet one. So test servlet is already mapped here. See, there is a test servlet is already mapped. Whenever we call this URL, that time our test servlet will call. Okay. Now, if you want to map the another servlet, now we have another servlet, which is test servlet one. How we will map this one? So for that, here I will create another one. After that, I will create here another tag. Suppose I am creating another tag here. There is a servlet tag. Directly servlet tag I am creating here. Okay, for your understanding, I am creating servlet tag, and here I am clicking enter. And after that, inside the servlet tag, we have to create two things. Which are the two things? Servlet name, servlet name, anything after here I am giving second, and after that servlet class we have to give here, right? Servlet class, and here I have to give the class. So with the help of package, I have to give copy. I will do it from here. I will paste it here. After that, dot then class name. So which is the class name? Test servlet one. Here I will come test servlet one. I will paste it here. Now if we call this slash triple A, so which servlet will call? So what it will do? Whenever you will type like that, see here if you come and if you type here slash triple A, so what it will do? It will directly come into the web.xml file. It will be see where is the slash triple A. So here is the slash triple A. It will see which is the name, which is the servlet name we have given. That's the first. So it will see the first inside this servlet tag. So where is the servlet tag? Here is the servlet tag. Here it will be it will see first servlet name is there. So yes, first servlet name is there. So what it will do? Whatever class we wrote with the help of that thing, so it will be execute that thing. Now, suppose I am writing here now second. Now which servlet will be called? Now we'll try to execute this one. If I right click on that and if I want to run this one, run on server. So which is the important thing here? That is our URL. Okay, with the help of URL only we are calling. Now if I write here slash triple A, so which servlet will be called? Oh, so if I write here and if I write here triple A, so which servlet will be called first? First or second? Means second means this, that is the test servlet one will be called. And inside test servlet one, what we wrote, that is the test servlet one is executed. Simple, we will come here and we will try to hit enter. So what it is printing? Test servlet one is executed, and here also it is printing test servlet one. Now if I come here and here if I write first again, okay, just I saved these things, okay, just I saved these things. We'll wait for this one. There is the, it will be reply, it will be response. It is not responding. Simply we will click here and we will run as on the run on the server. Okay. Okay. Now this time if I write here slash triple A, so which servlet will be called? Test servlet one or test servlet only. See, it will be see slash triple A. Okay, we are what we are typing from here. There is a slash triple A. So it will become here. It will be see what is the name. What is the servlet name here? That is the first. It will be see which is the first here. Which is the servlet name first here. Where it will be see inside the servlet tag. It will become here. Here is the first. That is the servlet name is first. Here it will become, and which class we are executing here? That is the test servlet. So if I hit enter means it will which servlet it will be execute? That is the test servlet. So how it is printing on the console means whatever we write inside the test servlet, that is executed. Now if I want to execute both the things, so for that what we need to do? We have to write another mapping tag. Servlet, and here mapping tag we have to write. And inside the mapping tag, what we need to write? Two things: servlet name, and after that servlet, sorry, URL URL pattern. Okay, so now here servlet name, whatever servlet name we have given here, same name we have to give here as well. I'm doing in alternative now. Okay, so first I have created servlet today, and after that I'm creating the servlet mapping. So if I want to execute with the help of this URL, we have to write same thing here, and any URL you can give here, but slash is important. Okay, this forward slash is important. Suppose I'm typing here A, B, and C. Okay, now we have created two servlets and we are mapping the two servlets here. Now if I call slash triple M, which servlet will be called? That is the first servlet, test servlet. And when we call ABC means which servlet will be called? That is the test servlet one. Okay, it will be C servlet name. What is the servlet name? Second. It will come into the servlet tag. First it will come here. Servlet name second is there. So no, it will not execute this one. Here it will become servlet name second. Where is the servlet name second. Here is the name. Which class is associated with that? So this class is test servlet one. So if I run this one now, say run on the server, restart the server. So now, if I type here slash ABC, so which servlet will be executed? First or second? Second means this servlet. This servlet will be executed. Okay, so we'll try to execute this one. ABC. If I click hit enter here, so which servlet is executing? Test servlet one is executed. Now, if I hit enter, there is a slash triple A right here, and if I hit enter means there is the first servlet is calling, that is the test servlet one is calling here. Okay, so these are the servlet type. You can create a multiple servlet and you can write a servlet as well. You can map that multiple servlet with the multiple URL. Easy only, nothing is difficult. Yesterday, easy than yesterday. No, no. Okay. If I say anything, means if I told you another thing here, now we will make it servlet more easier now. Okay. So here we have a web.xml file, and why we are using? If I want to map our request with our servlet, so that time simple we are using the web.xml file. Now we will make it more easier. So how we will make it more easier? I will delete this file. Now can our servlet will be work? Our servlet will work. That is the most that is the hectic part, no? That is the web.xml file is hectic part, no? So I removed that. So how we will access this servlet now? If I come here on the browser and if I run this one again from here, run as and run on the server. Okay. Okay. And now if I type here triple A, so which servlet will be called? No, because we deleted the web.xml file, we are not mapping request with our servlet. So how it will be called? So now we will make it more easier. We are not using our web.xml file. Simply we will write one thing only, and with the help of that one thing, we will map our request with our servlet. So for that, we have an annotation here. Okay, we have an annotation here. So simply we need to write that annotation here. So how to write annotation? At direct we have to write, and after that, web servlet annotation is there. Okay, and inside that, inside the double quote, you have to write the URL. Any URL if you want, you can write it that URL here directly. Suppose here this is the test servlet. Suppose I am writing here first. For that I am writing URL first, and for this one simple I am writing here address web servlet, and here I am writing that is the second, and then no need to write web.xml file. We wrote this all the things whatever we write inside the web.xml file, it will be considered here, and this is the latest way to write latest way to map our request with our servlet. Now see, if I run this one, it will be more easy for you. Run on the server, restart server. Okay, so this is the page we got, and we have two URL here. There is the first one is the sorry, this one is the first. Okay, first URL we have, and another URL we have. That is the second. Simple will come here, and if I write here first, so which servlet will be called? Okay, test servlet is calling. Hello is printing on the console. See, and if I show you that thing, where is that thing? This one is the console. No? So here see, whatever thing is there that is printing on the console, init method is called, service method is called. Now another thing is that there is the second one, second URL we have. When we call this URL, or this class will be executed. Simple, I will come here, and if I write here second, and if I hit enter, so which servlet is calling now? Test servlet one is executed. Easy now, both same time. You cannot write like that, because okay, so these are the two things we have. That is the if you want to use web.xml file, you can use that also. If you want this tag, that is the annotation. If you want to use, you can use directly annotation as well. At the top of the class, you have to write one annotation, and inside that you have to pass your URL. With whenever you access that URL, your class will be called. So this is the easier way, more easier now. That is the servlet. Easy or hard? Easy only, na? Okay, so do it by yourself. 3 servlet you have to create, and after that 3 servlet you have to map with the help of web.xml file first. Okay, and after that what you need to do is both in this browser you want. Hmm. Huh. No, it will be not call also. We'll try to call, but it will not call, bro. That is not your first. It will not call. That is not the URL, no. So now try to execute that thing. What you need to do? Simple. You have to create a three servlet, and you have to map that three servlet with the web.xml file. And after that, that three servlet, you have to delete that web.xml file, and you have to map that with the help of web servlet. Okay. Okay. So web.xml file is easy, or this web servlet is easy? Web servlet is easy only. No? Now servlet